History is full of mysteries. Some of them are solved and some are still waiting to get the best detective. People wonder what happened on Flight 370. Who is Jack the Ripper? And what is the story behind the Bermuda Triangle? Well, the last one was solved, as a lot of mysteries are no more mysteries. Credit goes to the scientific tools and intelligent investigators who have solved many strange-looking puzzles. But some of them got solved in really strange and unbelievable ways. Number 8. Kidnapped Sister. Zephany was born in Cape Town, South Africa. 3 days after her birth, a woman came from the same hospital as a nurse, took Zephany, and escaped. Her parents tried their best to find their daughter, but of no use. No clue, not even a single hint on how to get to the kidnapped. For the mother, it was next to a nightmare. But who knew that the mystery will be solved in an unbelievable way, and her daughter will be standing in front of her one day. At last, they gave up. After some time, they had another daughter, Cassadee. In 2015, Cassadee joined high school and made a best friend. Her best friend was a girl, 4 years Cassadee's senior. They were so close that their classmates noticed their close friendship and unusual resemblance. When Cassadee's parents learned about everything, they made a decision to investigate her. DNA reports cleared all the confusion. Cassadee's best friend was her missing sister, Zephany. The woman who kidnapped Zephany was sentenced to 10 years in prison. And another shocking thing is, the sentenced woman's husband did not know that Zephany was not his biological child. Number 7. No one around. John Joseph Donovan was a Navy veteran. He retired in 2005 and started hiking along the Pacific Crest Trail with his friend Lynn. They went through the Mojave Desert northward. Luck was waiting for them to get separated, and then it happened. When they reached Mount San Jacinto, Lynn decided to go back because of the snowstorm. John Joseph Donovan didn't go back with him, and he decided to continue. He kept on hiking and disappeared. After some time, Brandon Day and Gina Allen joined a tour group for hiking. They went to Mount San Jacinto and got lost. Brandon and Gina spent 3 days in unbearable cold without any food. On the 4th day, they found a backpack. They searched into it and found that the bag was of John Joseph Donovan. They found John's last words written on a map. May 8th, 2005. Took a fall to walk to climb out of the canyon. Down his gorge, no way out. Brandon searched the backpack and found a matchbox in it. He took that and blew the fire. This was one of the last efforts to get back into the world, and there was no clue of any help around. After some time, a helicopter flew into that area but didn't notice the fire and flew by. He was watching its light fading away, as that was the only moment that can save him from dying in the cruel woods. The next day, Brandon went to take the water. While he was filling up water in the pot, he saw something on the riverside. He went to check out and found out that they were the remains of John Joseph Donovan. Brandon got scared and started a fire to signal for help. After some time, a helicopter noticed the fire and landed. Brandon and Gina were rescued, and John's remains were recovered too. Before we move on, leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be the first watching new episodes. Number 6. The Neighbor. John List was a bank president. With a wife and 3 kids in the family, he was living a normal life, but not as smooth as it looked like. Something suspicious happened to the family, and in December 1971, John List's neighbors started noticing John's house. Something was not right. They were worried about John's family, as no one had seen any member of his family for 3 to 4 weeks. List's daughter was taking classes of a drama coach. When he noticed that she was not coming to class for a lot of days, he decided to investigate. He went to her house, but after finding no clue, talked to the neighbors. After knowing everything, he notified the police. Police went to List's home, where a new world of reality was waiting for them to get into the world. When they entered the house, they found 5 dead bodies. 3 of them were John's children, and the other 2 were John's wife and his mother. After searching the building, police found a letter explaining the reason for the murder. The letter was written by John. He wrote that he murdered his family to save their souls, as he was feeling like they were getting away from God. It looked like the actual cause is mentioned in his letter, but when police investigated, then the matter was something else. Police investigated John List and found out that he had been fired from his job, and he didn't tell this to his family. He was also having financial problems. After some investigations, police found John's crimes and began searching for him, but he was nowhere to be found. In 1989, Union County prosecutors asked for help from producers from the Fox program for this matter. Here, art came to play as its part in the mystery. An artist named Frank Bender made a clay bust of how John List might look like at the age of 63. A woman who is from Richmond, Virginia, recognized him and told the police that he looks like a neighbor, Robert Clark. Investigators went to Richmond, Virginia, and took Robert Clark for investigation. Robert Clark looked like the clay bust which Frank Bender had made, but Robert didn't accept to be a murderer. He didn't tell the truth, but his fingerprints did. Yes, he was John List. He was sentenced to 5 life terms in jail. Number 5, 30 years later. Pretty straightforward story, but difficult to get solved. Osmond Bell was a man who murdered his partner, Nova Welch. Nova was last seen with her kids. She dropped her kids in Osmond's house and went to a party to see his new boyfriend. The next day, neighbors heard Nova crying, and then she disappeared. A few days later, neighbors smelled a weird smell from her home, and they notified the police. Police went to search the house, and Nova was found dead in a cupboard. Police searched for proof and found a letter and a chewing gum. Detectives could not find out the DNA because of the lack of technology at that time. After 30 years, this case was reopened after advancements in technology. Letters and chewing gum were sent for DNA tests, and reports matched Osmond's saliva. Investigators found out that Osmond killed his partner after knowing about another man in her life. Osmond was sentenced to jail for 4 years. Number 4, police detective. Sherry Rasmussen, a nursing supervisor, was found dead in a condo. There were no fingerprints, no witnesses, and no gun. Detectives thought that some robbers might have attacked her because of a similar case in the same area. But when they found a bite mark on the arm of Sherry, they reopened the case and tested the DNA. The DNA was of a woman, so detectives began to suspect the ex-lover of Sherry's husband. His husband's ex-lover was Zephany Lazarus, who was a former police detective. They compared her DNA with the DNA of the bite on Sherry's arm, and it concluded that Zephany was the killer. Zephany was sent to jail for 27 years. Number 3, lucky find. Rhonda Nathan was a 67-year-old woman. On September 3, 1984, she was found dead on the floor of the hotel room. She was sharing a hotel room with her 50-year-old best friend Elaine and Elaine's boyfriend Joe. Elaine and Joe went out of the room for breakfast, and when they came back, they found Rhonda on the floor. She had scars on her face and chest, which showed that she had been beaten by some objects. Additionally, she had been beaten with someone's fists too, as 2 of her teeth were broken. Detectives concluded that it was a robbery, as Rhonda's diamond necklace, gold, and $500 were missing. But when the detectives started investigations, they found out that a worker of the hotel named Jones suffered a hand injury on the day of the murder. Injury on the day of the murder raised innumerable questions. When they asked Jones about the reason, he said that he cut his hand because of a metal object. Detectives reached out to Jones' doctor, who told them that his hand was injured due to a human bite. When the detectives searched out Jones' car, they found Rhonda's necklace. All confusions were clear, and Jones was sentenced to death. Number 2, Blackout. In 1985, a pregnant woman named Ellen was found strangled in her home. She was alone in the home, and her husband was away on a trip. Ellen was found dead by a male family friend when Ellen's husband Eddie had asked to look in on her. The air conditioner of Ellen's room was on, and she was laying in the bed. Investigators suspected Eddie in the first place, but investigations showed that Ellen was murdered on Sunday, while Eddie went to a trip on Friday. Everyone was confused until a witness came to the police. He said Ellen went to a video store and bought a movie named Blackout, a Mystery, saying her husband recommended that movie. That movie was about a man who killed his family and turned on the air conditioners to stop investigators from accurately estimating the true time of the murder. After knowing this, Ellen's body was examined again, and reports concluded that Ellen was killed 2 days before Sunday, which means Friday. Investigators concluded that Eddie killed his wife, turned on the air conditioner to mislead investigators, and went on the trip. Eddie was sentenced to prison for 50 years. Number 1, buried car. In 1991, a woman named Dawn Sanchez went missing from California. Police saw her last time with her boyfriend, Bernardo. Some people said that they both got into a fight, but there was no clue. Everything was missing and the case was closed. Later in 2007, this case was reopened when an informant said that the car might have been buried in a lot in El Viso. Police didn't know the exact location, and they could not excavate the whole area. They couldn't even use metal detectors because that area contained a lot of metallic things buried. So, investigators asked for help from USGS and NASA. Their engineers deployed a machine to find the magnetic environment of the area. That machine pointed out some specific areas. When those areas were excavated, they found pieces of Bernardo's car and everything was clear. Bernardo was sentenced to prison for 6 years. Thanks for watching. Leave the comment down below and let us know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe for new and upcoming episodes.